Hello there and a very warm welcome to another edition of the program. I'm Victor Matthias. Now, Nigeria's political terrain has been replete with cross-carpeting, coalitions gone bad in recent weeks, signaling the preparedness of the political class ahead of the elections, which will take place in February next year. But how will these moves play out? Who will have the last laugh? And who will the electorate pitch their tents with? These are questions that we will be finding answers to today on the program. But let us first check what made the headlines in the social cyberspace in the past week.
Europe's football governing body held the annual Champions League draws, and football fans couldn't hide their excitement and disappointment over the clubs that teams they support will be meeting in the 2018-2019 season of the competition. Late pop star Michael Jackson was celebrated in death as fans all over the world paid tribute to the music legend who passed away almost a decade ago in 2009.
Well, there you go. Those were the trending topics in the past week. But joining us to look at the topic of the day, we have Isaac Abraham. He joins us in the studio. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Olufemi Ajasa, who joins us via the Google Plus Hangout. He's calling from Abuja, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory. We can't see his video, but we can see his picture. Femi, thanks for joining us on the program today.
Oh, you're welcome, Victor.
Of course, we didn't hear you. Can you be audible a bit?
Oh, Victor, you're welcome. Yes.
Thank you very much. That's a lot better. So let me just come back to you to get us started. I mean, there's been just so much going on in the political terrain. Defections, cross-carpeting, call it what you want to call it, but, you know, coalitions and even failed coalitions, you know. But how potent do you think these moves have been?
Well, generally, because my own perspective is all these coalitions are not going to stand. Because if you notice the trend, we don't have, I would like to say that our political parties don't have a definite moral compass. We don't practice a democracy where you know this party stands for this and this party stands for this. I am here because this party stands for this. We practice a democracy where I am here because it's servicing my interest. We've copied both the British and the American system. Now, when we go back to their system, you have five generations of Republicans. You go, you see entire states, you know, these are Democrats, they call them the blue and the red states. Yeah. You have the conservatives, you have the liberals, and then you know what they stand for. But then here is, as long as my interest is not protected here, I can cross-carpet to the other side. We've had former chairmen of opposition political parties being members of a recent political party and all that. It's just about politics, and our politics is all about interest. And then I guess it's, I think when you want to hide your dirt, per se, when you don't want to be exposed or when you don't want to be prosecuted, you just go to the party of the day, and that's how our politicians are doing. And at the end of the day, things like that don't stand. I take, for instance, you see where maybe a former governor, because they've made the Senate a retirement home or whatever, because of maybe they have your black book, or you're in the black book of someone, when you convert to the next party, you become a saint per se, like you're a sinner on the other side, but once you cross, your sins are forgiven, and automatically everybody turns a blind eye and you're welcome to the fold. Now, what exactly is happening with all this cross-carpeting is, at the end of the day, it will not stand, because your interests might be shaken when you get to the other party too. So at the end of the day, you end up seeing someone cross-carpeting more than 10 times.
In other words, they're doing all of this.
They're doing all of this thing for their own selfish interest.
Well,
the interest of the people is not at heart.
Let's bring Femi into the conversation. Femi, I mean, he's saying that interest is what is driving this whole defections. I mean, do you agree with that?
To an extent, I do, but I also strongly hold that in politics, to defect to another party is normal. However, in the case of Nigeria, the scale at which our politicians defect, it is what appears quite shocking. It is no longer news. It's like an everyday thing, and that is where they raise the question of morality. And if you look at the whole thing, truly there is no soul. There is no soul that you can attach to as being the reason for things defecting. In some it would have been based on philosophies, ideologies. But if you study the follow-up news in Nigeria media space, then you can, of course, see the reasons why they are defecting. I'll give you instances. When Atiku left APC for PDP, you recall that then the news started about presidential tickets. You get? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can. Go ahead. We can.
Then subsequently, there's also inclusion of people like the Senate president, who is the first Senate president in Nigeria to defect to another party, who also moved from APC to PDP. Tambua followed suit, Kwankwaso, and the likes. And you discover that there are other form of news coming up recently, and we've seen news like Atiku won't defect to APGA. We've seen, he has disclaimed that. We have seen news reports where the party is trying to hold them to sign an undertaking, to actually be in the party. So being in the party in Nigeria is a case of, will the party answer my self-needs? And if the party can no longer answer your self-need, then you just walk out. So it's obvious that political parties in Nigeria need serious reformation at some point. The constitution needs to be clear on what and how politicians should move in a way that it will not affect the moral sense of our society at large.
Which of the constitution are you talking about, Femi? Is it the Constitution of the Federal Republic or the Constitution of political parties? Because I mean, from where you're going to, I mean, you're trying to say that these individuals feel that they are bigger than the parties. If the parties can't meet their needs, they now begin to want to move to where their egos will be massaged. Am I correct?
Yes, I am referring to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and not that of the party, because as the party appears, parties in Nigeria are weak. They're either hijacked by the person in power, talking about the president, governors, or be it chieftains in certain quarters. But if you look at the federal constitution of Nigeria, I think it's not so strong. It's not so clear. The terms are not so clear on defection. For governor, I know for sure that a governor can defect and nothing will happen after he wins election.